All right, welcome back to the Derek Stone Show. We left off, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and their schedule and our predictions. Now let's talk about what kind of things are going to happen in the draft for the Dallas Cowboys. House, where are they drafting? What do you think?
Drafting number 16. It's kind of a tricky spot to be in. A lot of the top players gone in the top 10, and then you've really got to make your picks, well in this point of the draft, in the midway through the first round, to get some quality players, which is exactly what Jerry Jones doesn't usually do.
What do you think? What are they looking at for needs in the area?
All right. Well, I think the biggest need is obviously defensively. I mean, they gave up just a ton of yards last year. I think they were last in the NFL.
Yeah.
Several games, I think they allowed more than 40 first downs. 40?
Matter of fact, I watched 2 games last year, House. The Dallas, there was the Chicago game and the Denver game. And now that I think about it, I think the New Orleans game as well.
Yeah.
Where they did not make the other team punt.
Yeah.
Not once, House.
Right.
Not once.
Right.
I started thinking to myself, I was like, there hasn't been a 4th down.
No.
There hasn't been a 3 and out. Not once.
Not once. And, I wouldn't mind it if it was, long, steady drives by Dallas and then a pick, fumble recovery, but it was not that. It was long, steady drives and quick, steady drives by the opponent every time.
Well, and then you lose pieces of the puzzle too.
Absolutely. I mean, DeMarcus Ware leaving, a lot of people upset about that, although he was making a lot of money. You also lose Jason Hatcher, so you have your defensive line that was giving up, which may be a good thing that they're gone, but I mean, these guys are, pretty solid players.
They're veterans, absolutely.
That's right. And they leave. So I think they have to address D-line, linebackers positions, and maybe offensive line. You can always use offensive linemen. I think skill positions, they're definitely set. There's not a lot of, I don't think, teams that have, better quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver combination if you take all 4. The Dallas, I don't think they need that. Maybe
I've heard some arguments that your tight end maybe one of the best ever.
So like last year, they made a lot of fun of Jerry Jones and in the drafts that they had last year. Travis Frederick went 1. You draft a center in the first round. Yeah, he starts. I mean, he's playing and he's playing well. Gavin Escobar, you take your tight end in the second round.
Again, not sexy picks, but you know what? The sexy picks doesn't always work. And I tell you what, it kind of leads me into the fact that your defensive coordinator is Rod Marinelli, who I know well after watching him in Detroit.
Right.
And he usually starts building his defense with a tackle.
Yes. Right.
He likes to build it from the inside out. He likes to build it with a tackle that can wreak havoc. I think you're looking at, in this case, probably like Timothy Jernigan from Florida State.
I think so. Yeah. Louis Nix, maybe Notre Dame.
Louis Nix from Notre Dame would be a fantastic pick here. But I tell you what, I think from what I've heard that the Clinton Dix is what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick, and I also don't mind it the fact that they signed 3 defensive linemen in the offseason too. They got Henry Melton from the Bears, 3 guys that were injured. Terrell McClain came over from Carolina. I think he's played in New England and Houston. Jeremy Mincey coming over from the Broncos. So they signed these 3 guys. And by the way, Henry Melton, Longhorn. Which I like. I like him to be there.
I do. I didn't see that. Hey, real quick, what do you think about the guy's name, Ha Ha?
Yeah. It makes me go ha-ha. I don't know why. Yeah,
ha-ha, Clinton
That's
Dix.
Right.
I think they should be from a sword fight or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
It sounds like the beginning of like a bad joke. Ha-ha, Clinton Dix.
I've heard this one. Hold on. I've heard this one. It's good. It's a good one. You got to listen to this
one.
All right. So, ha-ha, Clinton Dix.
Yeah. I mean, that would be all right.
Again, he did spend some time in their camp. They were looking at him at pro days and stuff. So that one there again. I think the defensive tackle could be a real big player here with both Timothy Jernigan and Louis Nix.
I just wonder. They went out and got the 3 guys that they got. All 3 guys combined are making about $10 million. Over a few years. Yeah. One of McClain's got a 3-year deal, Melton a 1-year deal, but I mean they're making quite a bit of money. Where DeMarcus Ware just signed a 3-year. $30 million deal. So he's making $10 million a year, and they get these 3 guys in. They're going to pay them, over $1 million each, whatever it is. Melton again, $3 million to then, bring someone else in. So I think maybe you're onto something there where they may be looking elsewhere, maybe looking at a defensive back or something.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just got this in on our Twitter feed, which you can tweet us at Derek Stone Show, at Derek Stone Show, DerekStone. And this is from Adam Schefter, and it's saying that Aaron Donald the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, has been seen numerous times now in the facilities.
Wow.
So, not that means anything for sure, but I mean, numerous times means that there's definitely some interest on one side or the other, if not
certainly,
both.
absolutely.
So again, like we had talked about with Rod Marinelli being there, switching defensive coordinators a lot of times means you're really shifting gears and kind of giving them free reign, at least that first year, to try to make some few mistakes or successes.
Right. And I think that would be great for them because it is nice to see that, you need defensive linemen and they are bringing these guys in that, you could just plug in right away and they're going to go. Last year, Dallas had a lot of needs. And then, like we said, their first 3 picks were center, tight end, wide receiver. And so you look at those things and you think, wow, it's kind of head scratching. The guys are playing. I mean, the receiver starting, the center starting, but you'd kind of like to see them pick guys that you feel that are going to help them the most.
Well, this goes back to what I had talked about with Detroit and the Sammy Watkins pick. If you can remember back, I had said Sammy Watkins. House said they have a lot of other needs. Why would they go with the wide receiver? And it's that sexiness factor, House. It's what the fans want. You know what I mean? You really do got to keep them happy. And I think that the fact that if you swing for the fences with a guy like a Sammy Watkins,
right,
and he turns out to be a guy like Megatron or a guy,
certainly,
that caliber,
right,
you're a hero,
right.
And if you don't quite hit it on that, you're not so much of a zero. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas if you swing for, I mean, if you throw out a pick that's supposed to be a safe pick of a defensive tackle or a center,
that's right,
and it hits. You're still you're not a big hit.
No,
but nobody's going, oh my God, you know what, Jerry, thanks for getting us this lockdown center.
Yeah, that's right. And I agree with that, other than the fact that maybe if you have that stud receiver on your team who's selling some tickets and your defense is giving up 580 a game and 49 points, and you're losing games, I don't know if the fans are thinking, man, I like that flashy receiver. That guy's pretty good. I think they might think, man, we should have taken the linebackers. I think in your case, like you said, if the team works out and the guy, then it's brilliant. But I'm just not sure of taking, those positions. I just think Dallas, it doesn't bother me that they're going to get a good defensive lineman. That never bothers anybody. I'm just wondering, like, you bring 3 new ones in who all can start, and then you're going to draft one. It seems like a strange timing to me. I'd rather see them go maybe elsewhere with that.
Okay. What I got to be completely honest with you. I have not seen where their second pick is. Do you know where their second pick is?
I think it's 45.
Okay, because I'm just trying to think what they could do here. I got to say, they got to go both these picks. Have got to be defense. You got to
47. I'm sorry, 47th pick. Yeah. So yes, I would think so.
Both these have got to be defense.
Right.
I mean, like you said, they got a lot of weapons on that side of the ball. And whether you love or hate Tony Romo, me personally, I think the guy he's a solid player. People hate on him, but haters are going to hate.
That's right.
And he can ball. But regardless of what you think about the guy, they're all premier players on the offensive side. So I think you're right. I think they got very good talent over there, but they were just getting the doors blown off last year. So I think they really got to address that, and they really don't have enough money in with the cap situation.
That's right.
To really go after big free agents.
That's
so
right.
They're going to have to build in this draft.
And leading in again. Talking about that, free agents. I mean, they bring in Will Herring, great player from New Orleans. They run him through a physical. He passes the physical completely, and then Dallas backs out of the deal. I mean, this guy would have helped him out. He's a linebacker. They need linebacker help, and Dallas just backs out. The reason they give is that they find him an injury risk, which he doesn't understand. I don't understand. He passed the physical. I mean, I don't get when you have a shot at getting a guy like a Will Herring, and he does pass the physical. Why in the world you're turning down defensive players? There must be more to that story than...
there's got to be. We had one like that earlier in the year if everybody's unhappy. So you're right. There's always more to the story. So your pick overall, we both agree it has to be defense.
Correct.
And what do you ultimately going to pull the trigger on and say here?
I think even though I'd like to see them go with a secondary help or something, I think they're going to take Jernigan from Florida State.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be... Now, my other thing I want to bring up real quick before we finish this segment is I have them down as their needs are, D-line, linebacker, offensive line, and then the next one, general manager. I think it would help them tremendously if Jerry Jones could bring someone in that knows something about football. He's tried this for quite a few years now. He's tried to run the draft. He's tried to be a director of players, and he's not that good.
But, you know, the case in point, Al Davis. You don't get away from that.
Yeah.
You know, a leopard does not change its spots, and he's not going to give up the helm. He's just not going to do it. He thinks that his way is the right way, and he's going to keep trying. And the worst thing that can happen to him, House, I can tell you this right now, is for him to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because that to him will be validation for everything he has done. And he will think, ha, I told you so. And
yes,
we'll
right.
all look back and go, it took you 20 years.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And yeah, to have the team that he had last time, of which Jimmy Johnson had a big say in getting players in there, to him now making all the decisions, or most of them at least. We have to assume that Garrett does have input, but not a lot. But when he looks around the league, like if you are a general manager or you are an owner and you look around the league and all these teams that are successful and they all have a GM, they all have this guy that's been in football for years and years and knows a lot of scouts and knows a lot of stuff, and you don't, and you are not winning. I mean, wouldn't that click as like, shouldn't we try something new? Or, I mean, is 8-8 good enough for him as long as he's selling the AT&T stadium and as long as he's selling, you know what I mean? They're worth, what, $2.5 billion?
Yeah,
I mean, is that the bottom line?
I think they were like the top 3 of all teams.
So is that it? Just keep a team on the field that's quality enough to sell jerseys and sell product? Or, I mean, I just don't understand not wanting to commit yourself to win by doing everything you can. I just don't get that part.
I don't know. I tell you what, you got to be a prideful, stubborn man, and I can see it. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty like a mule myself. You know, when it comes to certain things.
A lot of things.
Yeah. So, but with that said, I mean, you're right. Sometimes you just got to find the right person and hire him. And it's hard for him to go ahead and say, you know, someone's the right person besides him.
That's right.
So maybe you should go on the Shark Tank there. And
that's right.
Pitch that. Have a meeting there.
I bet Cuban would,
Cuban would tell
him,
look, here's how we go down to South Beach, have a couple
cocktails.
That's
right. Here's how you do it.
You hire somebody to run it, you trust them.
That's right. You kick back and relax. That's right. And on the last note, of course, is the great addition of the quarterbacking crew that they got. What? Signing a backup. Yes. Not only did they think that,
I don't think I've heard. So
Tony Romo, backed up by Kyle Orton, but they brought in another.
You need somebody else besides Cowboy Bob Orton?
Yeah, that's right.
He is still there, by the way, right? That's Cowboy Bob?
Yeah. I'm not sure he is.
Oh.
I don't know if he is.
You know, I don't know that I've heard any movement, but who are you referring to?
We have Brandon Whedon coming in. Big 12?
Oh, you did mention this in the intro. I remember
right.
Brandon Whedon.
That's right. So I think when you were trying to find these, missing pieces.
Is he 35 or 36?
I thought he was 36 when he came into the league.
Yeah, he's
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Why?
Yeah, I know. I don't. And then I looked it up, and I think Caleb Haney's on their roster too. So they now have 4 quarterbacks, where they had 3, and then they bring in Brandon Whedon.
Tell me something. Have you ever heard anybody in their life say, we brought in a Cleveland quarterback, and you were happy for them? Ever? Any team.
All right. Let's see.
Bernie Kosar even included.
Yeah, that's
everybody.
right. That's right. I'm trying to think of even any player, like any guys. I know that Trent Richardson was supposed to be, great for the Colts coming from Cleveland, but I don't think I've heard anybody.
Well, I tell you what, one guy that everybody is happy to see, at least I've heard, and I can't believe for myself, is Mr. Dirty Sanchez. He's coming that's right. He's coming to Philly. He's there. They made the swap. Jets, Eagles, Mark Sanchez coming your way next on the Derek Stone Show.